Hi everybody, I'm Cassandra from Craftably Ever After and welcome to another video. Now you guys, today I'm just going to update you on a few of the crochet-alongs that I'm taking part in, a few random projects that I've been crocheting over the last couple of weeks, sort of coming from towards the end of December, beginning of January, things that sort of been lying around that I haven't had time to show you yet. So this is just going to be, I hope, a quick crochet catch-up. I'm going to start with the crochet along that my friend Jenny over at In My Spare Time Crochet is hosting. We started on this last year already, and it is the Year of Granny Square's Cal. Now I am actually up to date, although I again forgot to submit last week's square to Jenny. Hopefully I will get it done with this week's square and she will have it in her video, but I will show you the squares that I've completed over the last few weeks but haven't showed on the channel yet. So I'll pop first a photo of the book that we're working from. Every week we're starting at number 1 and we're going to end at number 52. Every week we just do one square. It's been so much fun. There's a ton of people that have joined in, and this is a nice project for me in between my mainly amigurumi making. As you know, I've been busy with some blankets. I'm busy with a hexie cardigan. That I'll update you in a different video, but for today let's kick off with the Year of Granny Squares Cal. Now I can never remember the name of the squares, so I'll pop a name of the square on the screen, but this was the first one, so I've got 4 to show. This was the first one, really easy one. I enjoyed making this one. Every now and then, although I really like the flowery ones, which is sort of 3D, I do like the plain one color ones every now and again, and they are sort of sprinkled all over the place, which is a nice break from the more difficult ones. Then we had another solid color one, which is this one. I actually really like this one as well. Then flowery one. This one was really nice to do, even though I'm not a fan of puff stitches or bobble stitches. I did really like how this one turned out. And then the most recent one, or last week's one, actually we're on to the next one already, but the last one I did, which is still sort of on, I don't have proper blocking boards, I just have these cork pot holder things, but they work just as well. So this was the most recent one I completed. Very easy one, and I really like how it turned out. So if you want to see all the squares of everyone that's participating, every Thursday Jenny comes out with a video, and I love watching all of the submissions that she has in a little slideshow every week. So that's the update on the Year of Granny Squares Cal. Now I'm just going to show you a few random projects. The next few, they're not really part of a cal. I often, and it's actually carried over from last year, I have really bad pattern indecision every now and again. So I've got tons and tons of crochet books, crochet patterns. I mean, the internet is full of free patterns, and it just sometimes takes me so long to decide what I want to make. Then I go back to something simple, see if it sort of kickstarts my, my love for looking for different patterns, because I do enjoy looking at patterns. I do enjoy buying patterns, and I do enjoy buying pattern books. But at a point, you just get so overwhelmed with everything that's available. And then, as I say, I go back to making a few simple things. Now, the first thing was this cute little sea turtle. Many of you will be familiar with this guy. This is the pattern by Crochet by Jenna. It's just her small, I don't know, I think it's just called small sea turtle or small turtle. This is a quick make. Very simple shapes, very easy to do. This I made with, now I don't work with a lot of plush yarns, the chenille yarns. I do have a little bit of yarn that I've purchased a few months ago. And every now and again when I get the urge, I will make a few things like pull yarns from that box. But I definitely don't have a massive stash of plush yarns. But this is Hobby Toucan. I really like the Hobby Toucan. It's a bit of a stiffer, it's slightly more stiff than something like Premier Parfait Chunky, or even the Hobby Honey Bunny, which is a very, very soft chenille. The toucan yarn is a bit stiffer, and I do find it quite easy to work with. So this is Hobby Toucan. Then, of course, I told you last week that I love making loaf cats. It's one of my favorite things to do. I have no loaf cats to show you, but between Monday and Wednesday, I actually made 10 loaf cats. A colleague at work just asked me for one, and I said, no problem, I ended up making 10. I'll pop a picture on the screen. I took all of them to work. I had this little basket that I put on my desk, and people can take whenever they pass my desk, if they feel like they want to take one of them for free. I call it an emotional support companion. So you will see it on the screen. This was a photo that I took last week, or this past Friday, the 17th. I took them all to work. So I really, really love making loaf cats. I just do them in a solid color. I don't do anything weird and wonderful to them. They're just in solid colors. And this is the pattern by Annie Caraway Art. I will link the pattern down below. Any pattern I talk about today, I will link it in the description box. Some more things that I just randomly made towards the end of December during the time that I was on leave were these two bunnies. Now these bunnies come from, it's a pattern in the book Whimsical Stitches. And as you guys know, the Whimsical Stitches is the book that we are using for the Amigurumi World Tour. Now between the US book and the international book, we've actually now covered every single project in the book. I'm almost up to date on all of the projects. I know our US book has just been with Stephanie. She's passed it on, or she's already posted it to the third to last person. So we are just about done with the US book. Very soon, hopefully, the international book will start moving after its teeny tiny delay in Canada due to the postal strikes. But Post is moving in Canada, so I'm hoping that our book will start moving soon as well, our international book. But anyway, this bunny pattern, I actually really love it. I've made a few bunnies from this pattern before, and like I say, during my stint of pattern indecision in December, I just worked on these two while I was watching YouTube or movies or whatever, Netflix. They whip up really quickly. I do use my own embroidered eyes that I've got a tutorial for. I know quite a few new subscribers have asked if I've got a tutorial for embroidered eyes. Yes, indeed, I do have a tutorial showing you step by step how I make these exact embroidered eyes. So I will link the embroidery eye tutorial in the description box below. So these two, I really like them. I'll probably whip up a few more before Easter. I really like having these, although this year, as I mentioned, I'm not going to make a ton of very, very small things, but I do like to have just a little stock of these things that I hand out. Either I take them to work or give them to the kids to take to school. But this bunny, I've really, really loved making this specific pattern. This, of course, made with my favorite rainbow cotton and Friends Cotton 86, which is a sport weight yarn, and I use a 2.5mm hook. So that is my bunnies. Now, the next two items I'm going to show you is part of two different cals that I'm joining in. My love for crochet-alongs is continuing. So even though I can't participate in everything that's going on at the moment, there are so many crochet-alongs that started in the beginning of the year. I cannot take part in them all and still do things that I want to do on the side. But I have been joining in on a fair few. Now, two of them is actually with my friend Litza at Coco's Crochet. And the first one, when she mentioned it, I knew I was going to take part. And it is called the Best Dressed, I think it's something about Best Dressed 2025. I will put the name of the hashtag on the screen. But it is basically making clothes for 18-inch dolls. And the first pattern that was chosen, now I will link Litsa's videos down below, or the video explaining the best dressed crochet along. But she picks a designer, and then from that designer, a specific clothing item every month. And I really wanted to take part in that. If you've been around a while, you know I love dolls. If you saw my video last week where I showed a part of my office just here on the side, you can't see all of it. I have loads and loads of Barbie dolls. I collect Barbie. I've got a lot of other dolls as well, but I've never had an 18-inch doll. It was also not the type of doll that my daughter Jessica ever liked to play with, so we never had one. But when Litsa put out this crochet along, I knew immediately I was going to order an 18-inch doll and I was going to take part. So let me show you. So this is the doll that I ordered from Amazon. This is the skirt that was selected. Now, I'm very sorry that you cannot see the beautiful sort of a shell stitch that this pattern is made up from, and it is purely because of the yarn I used. I used Hobby Universe XL, which is a DK weight. It's a variegated yarn. It's got some sparkle in it, which you also can't see. And I held it double with a white fingering weight yarn. So now the Universe that I use, sorry, it's not the XL, although I have used the XL version for other items. This one was just the usual Hobby Universe, which is a fingering weight, and I held double with a fingering weight white. So I loved this skirt. It really worked up quickly. I watched my friend Julie over at KS Mom Crochet. Her latest video I watched this morning. She also made this doll skirt, and she also mentioned it worked up really quickly. So this was a fun pattern to make. But let me just tell you, when I ordered this doll and it was delivered at the house, I opened it up, and luckily my husband knows me by now. He just walked past and he just said, "Oh my word," and he just went about his business after that. So he knows that his wife at 46 is a bit of a doll collector. So but I've had fun with this one. I can't wait to see what the next pattern is that we will be making for the dolls. The last thing is another crochet along, and it's actually between a few different channels. I think there's 5 channels taking part. 2 of my very good yarny friends here on YouTube, again Litsa and then Jenny from In My Spare Time. They are co-hosts, and it is called the Made in Australia Cal 2025. Now, I love all things Australia. I spent a year in Australia as an exchange student. I lived for that year basically in Melbourne, but we did a very extensive tour with the exchange student group through a very big part of Australia. So I just love all things Australia, and when they put out this cal, I knew immediately that I was going to take part and I was going to try and design a pattern for it. And of course I had to do my absolute favorite animal, which is a koala. And the pattern I designed, I actually made 2 of them, is this cute little koala girl in her. Now I really like making floaties for my amigurumi. You will know from Swim Time Sammy, but this time I made a little watermelon floaty for her. She's got a bathing suit on with this little frilly skirt thing that's part of the bathing suit. I again used rainbow cotton and Friends Cotton 86 and a 2.5mm hook. Now I did make 2 versions because I wanted to try different color combinations. The second one I made, and this time I borrowed the pattern from Swim Time Sammy for this little flamingo float, but her bathing suit is this very nice mint green with pink. So these are my 2 koalas. I call the pattern Katie the Koala. It's the name of the pattern. I've written it up, but as I tell you guys, same with my camping bear, the pattern is written up. I must just add a few photos and finish it up so that I can get it ready for people to test it for me. But I just never have that urge to sit down and complete it. So sometime very soon I will be finishing up writing these patterns that I can have them tested. But in the meantime, this was my submission for the Made in Australia Cal 2025. Absolutely loved it. Loved that I could make a project based on my favorite animal, and also support my yarny friends here on YouTube. All right, you guys, that is it for this week. Just a few random projects and just a few more cows that I'm taking part in. I've got a few fun things planned coming up in the next couple of weeks. One of them is going to be trying out this really cute looking dog crochet kit that I picked up at one of my favorite stores, Flying Tiger. And I've got one or two other plans for upcoming videos. In a future video, I'll also update you on my Hexie cardigan that I'm doing as part of the Hexie Cardi Party 2025. I've completed the one hexagon. I'm halfway with the second side, so that is coming along nicely, but I will update you and show you a bit more in a future video. All right, you guys, that's been it for this week. Just a little chat and a little crochet catch up on what's been going on the last few weeks. As always, you guys, I love chatting to you in the comments. Please let me know what you're busy with. I have updated our Amigurumi World Tour journal. It's on the blog. So if you want to take part in the Amigurumi World Tour and submit a project from the Whimsical Stitches book for our Hello From pages, please go and have a look at the journal on the blog. I will also put a link to the video. If you're new to the channel and you want to know what the Amigurumi World Tour is all about, it's never too late to join in. Our books are still doing the rounds, so more than enough time to still submit a project to me. But that's it. I think I've updated you on everything that I wanted to update you on. And that's it for this week, you guys. I hope you've had a lovely weekend. I've definitely had a very, very relaxing weekend. It's terrible weather still here in Denmark. It's very cloudy, miserable, a lot of rain. Perfect weather for crafting and crocheting. All right, friends, that's it. Until I see you in the next video. As always, stay safe and stay crafty.